Well, who would guess 2 weeks in a row it's time for Take the Track again? Hancke, Martin is ons gas hierdie week hier by SPOOR. Dit is so 'n groot deel van waarmee ons as jagters en spesifiek wapeneienaars te doen het die laaste paar, eintlik jare, maar veral die laaste klompie maande, is die onsekerheid waar ons staan met goeder soos die vervalde lisensies ensovoort. So, Martin, baie dankie dat jy vanaand hier is. Ek is seker al ons kykers daar buite tot die ouens hier in die motor, hulle sal verstaan as jy Engels praat, moenie worry nie, so jy kan gooi. Ek gaan nog so 2 slukkies van my koffie vandag. Ek ook seker oorslaan Engels toe. So baie dankie dat jy hier so is. Ek gaan sommer met die deur in die huis val. En Hancke, asseblief, ons het glad nie voorberei vir vanaand se. Dis regtig 'n Q&A sessie wat ons jou gaan bombardeer en soos ek gesê het, jy weet, asseblief as ons 'n oningeligte vraag vra of jy weet of jy kan hoor, selfs ons twee is nie lekker seker oor 'n dingie. Korrigeer ons asseblief en laat die ouens daar buite die regte inligting kry en ons wil soveel as moontlik vir jou vra vanaand wat die ouens daar buite wil hoor. So Hancke, gooi, ek sien jy.
Where do you want to start?
Thanks for being here. We appreciate a lot. And a guy with your position and the gun owners thing, it's nice for us to have you here.
It's a pleasure. It's really a pleasure.
Something happened in June. There was a little bit of a story.
I'm going to blush now.
If you can just tell us what happened there, because people know. And
I had a hunting accident. I was hunting birds, and it was a community shoot, which we all must support, of course, because we need the local communities to invite us to use their lands and to hunt on them. And I was shooting guinea fowl in Franklin, and I was in a field. I was at the back of a group of hunters, and I was charged by a Brahman bull who didn't like me being in his field, and he head-butted me, and he threw me over his head, and I fell and broke my pelvis in 3 places.
Amazing.
And damaged my ribs.
And you had a 20 gauge with you.
So don't take a shotgun to a bullfight.
On that note, thank you for that. On that note, where do we stand at the moment with the gun laws?
Okay, so I think we can start by unpacking some of the basics. And let's talk about expired licenses.
Yes,
because
please.
Everyone is saying, what do I do if I have an expired license? The answer is, lock the firearm in your safe. Don't carry it on your person, and don't hand it in to the police. We are busy legally sorting that out. I think it's important to bear in mind that you can still use that firearm to protect yourself or your family if you are attacked at home. So there's a very important thing to bear in mind here. I'm saying don't carry the firearm in public simply to avoid a misunderstanding with a policeman late at night who wants to know why you've got a firearm with an expired license. That's going to result in some difficulties, and it may result in an arrest. So, to be cautious, keep it at home. But you can still use it to protect yourself at home. Legally, I say that you keep it at home because there is this GOZA court order. It's an interim court order. An interim court order is meant to stop something happening now whilst something is sorted out in the future. So the GOZA court order is broken into 2 parts. There's the interim court order, which says the police have to hand guns back and they're not allowed to collect and confiscate firearms. I'm pleased to say that the police have issued a directive where they've actually asked people to come and collect their firearms, and they've told the police to hand over the firearms. So we have the first part of a court order that says you don't have to hand the guns in. At some point in the future, the question of whether you can apply late is going to be decided by the High Court. It has not yet been decided, which is why I say keep the firearms in the safe until the courts sort out the situation.
Martin, hoekom, daar was nou hofsaake voor hier, hoekom is ons in 'n situasie in Suid-Afrika waar jy met 'n vervalde lisensie sit en hom nie mag hernie nie? Hoekom sit ons daar? Kan jy vir ons dit verduidelik?
I think, again, that there's 2 parts to answering that. The first one is it's a policy decision on the part of the police. So the police have decided that you cannot renew your license, and they've implemented a system on the computer control system to stop that happening. They've blocked all of these firearms. So it's policy. The law, on the other hand, does allow you to apply late, which is why it's going to court, because we're actually dealing with a practical issue, and that is the police are simply refusing to renew these licenses. The law...
But it's an IT problem.
No,
it's a system, but it's a
deliberate...
That's a deliberate thing.
It's a deliberate tactic on the part of the police to force people to dispose of their firearms.
Okay. And we're not going to go into that.
No, we're not going to go.
But
that's what it is. If I can add, what really makes me angry is in the police's own court documents in the Constitutional Court, they agreed that you can apply late, yet they will not allow it.
Ja, nee, dit is maar dan op daai punt, soos ek sê, ons nie verder op ingaan nie. Onnodige tone trap hier, maar op daai punt elke keer as daar so 'n gesprek kom, dan kom iemand in die gesprek en sê maar ek het nog 'n groen lisensie. What happens with the green licenses and that kan daai ding verval? Hoe werk dit verduidelik gou, want daar's baie ouens wat nog daai groen lisensie het.
So again, there's the legal interpretation and there's the police's interpretation. Let's deal with the police because they're the ones that make and break the decision-making process. The police say, if you have a green license and you never renewed it, that license is valid. Nothing needs to happen with it now. It doesn't have an expiry date. It doesn't need to be renewed. The police say, if you transitioned from green to white and your license, your white license expires, then it's invalid. I say, and many other legal people, properly legally qualified people, including Judge Prinsloo in the 2009 case. Judge Prinsloo ruled very clearly, in my opinion, that all green licenses were valid. So in other words, the situation should be, if you have a green license and a white license, the green license is at the top of the pile, and that takes precedence over the white license. That's also an issue that's going to have to be decided by the courts.
But that is an issue veral met die stelsel, want die stelsel akkommodeer nie. So jy sit nou tussen 'n rock and a hard place, want jy het nou beide, en jy moet nou besluit watter kant toe jy, ek meen, hoe werk dit nou? Jy het die groene, gaan jy terugval op dit en jou geweer gebruik?
Well, let me give you an example of, again, how the police don't want to solve a problem. Many people want to go from green to white so that they can become compliant. But the police's system doesn't allow you to move green to white. So we're in a situation where we're on the outside looking in, trying to be compliant, trying to be the good, responsible firearm owners that we should be, and the police are the people that are putting the barriers in the way, unfortunately. And that fundamentally, Stefan, is why there's been so many court cases, because we can't engage the police to solve these problems, and we have to go and get court orders.
Martin, time period-wise, what are we looking at here? How long from now, where it is now, till where we will know what's going to happen?
Breaking news. The issue of renewing expired licenses is going to court on the 10th of September. So hopefully, shortly after the 10th of September, we'll have clarity from the High Court, yes.
Well, thumbs.
You know what?
That's the first public announcement of it.
We just want to say thank you for all the work that you put in for us and for all the other people there that's gun owners and then want to be responsible gun owners and that kind of stuff. And thank you for you and all the organisations out there that's fighting the battle for us actually. Yeah. So thanks for that. We appreciate it.
En hou gerus 'n wild en jag tydskrif dop. Martin het elke maand het hy vir ons 'n artikel wat hy skryf so relevant as moontlik. Tydskrifte is maar 'n paar weke altyd vooruit vanweer die printerdatums ensovoorts, maar Martin het altyd 'n up-to-date, soos die Engelsman sê, artikel. En dan net voor ons groet wil ek net gou sê oor môre is daar 2 groot skietdae aan. Die 8de September, die een is by Ramon Strydom en welkom. RS Sport het 'n groot skietdag aan. Laas jaar oor die 200 skits gewees. En dan Hancke, Saterdag oor 'n week is ons groot skiet, die DGS. Maar Saterdag bied Basa 'n skiet daar by hulle aan. Al die Aussies en almal hulle land môre. en dan almal van Britannia van waar ook al en almal het ingeskryf vir die Basas skiet-ok. So ek dink dit gaan 'n lekker 8-9 dae voor ons wees. So ons sien uit daarna. Luister julle, baie dankie julle saam gekyk het. Die tyd het ons ongelukkig gevang. Martin, soveel dankie vir die insig wat jy ons gegee het en ons hou die sosiale media aan die goeders dop om verder van jou te hoor en skakel met ons volgende week donderdag aan 7:00 weer. Dan hopelik is ons terug op vat die spoor en nie weer op tyd te trek nie. Lekker aan.